right, shall we call the meeting to order and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first order of business tonight is a hearing on an ordinance establishing an official map on an area of the former Naval Air Station. Council will now call to order a hearing to consider a new official map for the Naval Air Station property and an ordinance to adopt the official map, which was advertised for hearing and consideration this evening. Notice for request for comment was sent to all municipalities that border Horsham Township, as well as the Montgomery County Planning Commission. The official map is intended to be consistent with the reuse plan as approved by this community and the federal government in 2012. The official map is being created pursuant to the municipality's planning code and shows various elements of the township's current comprehensive plan, like public streets, parks, open space, and stormwater management areas. This hearing is your chance to let council know what you think about the official map and the ordinance. Mr. Gilday Walker will provide more detail on the official map, and then you'll have a chance to make comments. Bill?
All right, so as Mr. Whiteside announced, this hearing on this ordinance was legally advertised. All contiguous municipalities were notified of and given a copy of the official map, which is required by the MPC of the state. The only one to comment, by the way, was Montgomery Township, and it wasn't really on the official map. It was on use of the base, on the base, and they suggested, their only comment was that we consider affordable housing on the base. I did respond back to them that although the official map does not consider uses, we do have 75 permanent supportive townhomes in our redevelopment plan for the base. The official map was also reviewed and commented by the Montgomery County Planning Commission and the Horsham Township Planning Commission. So going back with our redevelopment timeline here, in 2005, the Willow Grove base was listed to be closed by the United States Congress. And in 2006, we created the Horsham Land Redevelopment Authority. The base officially closed and the Navy left town in 2011, which then began our community process for about 18 months from 2011 to into 2012 with community meetings on the redevelopment plan, which was ultimately approved by the federal government in 2012. In 2013, we were able to transfer, the HLRA was able to assist and transfer the Horsham Memorial Army Reserve Center on 611 to our school district so they could construct the new Hollowell Elementary School. And then in 2014, as many of us know, the PFAS contamination halted the progress of the base and the redevelopment of the base. In 2021, the Navy did transfer what they call the Southeast Clear Zone under a public benefit conveyance. That was the old elementary school, Horsham Elementary School property of those who might have lived here back in those years. That's off 611 between Girard Avenue and Columbia Avenue. So that was transferred in 2021 to Horsham Township. Also at that time, mainly with the Department of Defense, they like to transfer a whole base at one time. So it's 862 acres. And traditionally, historically, the DOD, they like to transfer their closed bases all at once. Here it is, and they're done with it. We approached them back in 2020, 2021 with the idea, would they consider phasing it in? There are parts of the property that are not contaminated. There are parts of the property that will take some time to clean up and will be safe. And there's parts of the property that will never be touched. So, to our surprise and delight, they said yes and started talking and negotiating with the township and the HLRA. In 2024, they signed a term sheet which in our world, in the public world, would be like a letter of intent before an agreement of sale. So the term sheet was signed last year between the HLRA and the United States Navy for Phase 1 and Phase 2. This is our redevelopment plan, approved redevelopment plan of 2012. It's more like a bubble plan, but it is the plan that's approved. We get a lot of comments from people about worried about, again, traffic and population and density. And out of the 862 acres of this plan, approximately 25% of the property will be kept open space. So why are we rezoning? Well, our redevelopment plan was approved in 2012. We want to be proactive as a community. We want to be protective as a community. We want to continue to show good faith with the United States Navy in our continued negotiations, which will go on for a very long time, especially if it's phased in. You're actually negotiating with the United States Navy for each phase as it goes. Our comprehensive plan that was adopted this year also includes the base and the approved redevelopment plan, and just proper community planning. You want to be ready to go if something good happens. What do we mean by protective and proactive? Tens of millions of dollars have been spent in preparation for the redevelopment, expansion of our sewer treatment plant, planning for public water, transportation projects. I won't take time to say them all, plus many more. Even the school district, when they built Hollowell, they made it large enough for children from the Navy base, the redevelopment of the Navy base, to go to Hollowell. And policies, each administration changes. Policies have changed in Washington, D.C. Sometimes we're not sure what is happening or what will happen. So if anything does, good or bad, we want to be ready as a community. You've heard that term, shovel ready. So we want to be ready as a community. And we want to show progress with the United States Navy in our negotiations and future negotiations. And the rezoning shows that the township is moving forward. The rezoning, we stated this in June when we did our protective rezoning, but we have, step one was the protective rezoning, which was completed in June of 2025. I kind of explained at that point, like we wanted to do something quickly, just in case, the Department of Defense wanted to auction off the property. I used 322, Route 322 over the Commodore Barry Bridge and the sea of warehouse and distribution centers. If you've ever been over there. And our property at that time in June, when I mentioned this, it's zoned industrial. And what's allowed in industrial? What you see on 322 over the Commodore Barry Bridge. And it's nothing but truck traffic and warehouses, no jobs, no ratables for the community. So council did take the step in step one in June, and I don't know what's going on with the technology here, but step two is tonight, is the official map. And then step three, which is our final step for rezoning, would be a comprehensive rezoning per the approved plan, and we'd like to hopefully wrap that up by the end of the year. So there's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of people saying a lot of different things, some on social media, some just word of mouth. So what is not happening today or at this time? There is no land transfer at this time. The Navy is not transferring any land to the township at this time. There are no land development plans for any developer or anything to happen on the base. There is no construction occurring at this time. Residential, commercial, and there is no construction of roads through the base occurring at this time. This was what I just mentioned in green when it was zoned, the industrial zoning before June. This is what it is zoned now. It's split in half, basically R1, which is single family homes, and Business Park District 2, which is mainly office park, labs, research, and development. So we're at step 2 tonight, the official map, and the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, which is the law of the state, allows communities and municipalities to create and adopt official maps to protect, promote public health, safety, convenience, and general welfare, and to further accomplish the redevelopment plan. So some people ask, like, what is the official map? It is simply designating public lands and facilities. It's not talking about what's going to be residential. It's not talking about what's going to be commercial. It's identifying the locations of public streets, water courses, public grounds, parks, open space, trails, stormwater management, drainage areas, and public support facilities such as public water and sewer. So, this is the proposed map that is being considered this evening. And I'll go basically south to north. And what the map is showing here is any green area we're labeling open space, stormwater control, and park. So the green areas can be any of one of those 3 things. So we have this is 611 here. This is the existing Maple Avenue here. This is Horsham Road here. And this is Keith Valley Road here. So down off 611, this is the non-fenced-in area of the base, the crash zone. We have an open space area. PS stands for sewer pump station. So we have one here, and we'll identify some others as we go northbound. Someone will ask, like, why do you need a sewer pump station? Is because the topo for this all goes this way. It all flows down this way. We need to get all the sewer to our Keith Valley Road treatment plant up here, so it needs to be pumped to the treatment plant. So this little pink area is, again for a sewer pump station. Another one here. Again, this is Maple Avenue. This is would be open space. This is Norristown Road. This would be area set aside for Norristown Road extension that would connect to Maple Avenue and then 611. All 4 major intersections on the base would be roundabouts. There would be no traffic signals. All 4 would be roundabouts. The new roundabouts, not the old New Jersey roundabouts that many of us knew back in the day. So this would be the Norristown Road extension. I say Norristown Road. I don't know if it's going to be called Norristown Road. We're just calling it the Norristown Road extension at this time. So moving on this way is more green space and park. This is around the area of our town center. So part of the area around the town center, we want a park, festival park, or whatever it's going to be called in the future. This is Precision Drive. So there's a connection here that would go through the entire base and connect out to the main gate, what we know is the main gate for the base. There would be a breakaway here, and this road would take you out to Moreland. That intersection was just improved and included for this new road to come out. So that would be the Moreland Road. This would be what we call the north to south or south to north road through the base from Maple to Keith Valley. Again, roundabout. School district still has 40 acres. As we all know, back in 2010, 2012, that was going to be the new Keith Valley Middle School, and that's not happening. So the district and their facilities committee are looking into the future and deciding, what this will become now that it won't be the middle school. Proposed recreation center and park in a dark green. A little open space here to give the existing middle air guard station some buffering. As we move here, a water tank here, proposed water tank here. We try to put them in areas where they would fit the best. And today, their water tanks don't look like most of them in Horsham. They've all been designed and can be done totally different whole different look, that they don't even look like a water tank. So as you come here, closer to Keith Valley Road, we have a large open space stormwater public park. We also put in an area in case, or the sewer treatment plant, our sewer treatment plant that is expanded, but they are landlocked. So if they need a new, smaller, but for more capacity, we put a possible sewer treatment plant here. And I just thought of something. The trail. So there's a 50-foot wide trail easement along the perimeter. You see it stop because it'll just be open space. So we'll just put the trail in. But you see it here too that we've made special on the official map that this trail gets put in. Also along the right-of-way that we'll have along 611, it'll be a perimeter trail will be put in. So that's what we're allowed. Once council considers this evening, this map can be amended. So nothing is written in stone. So it can be amended, but it gives us and any future developer that is interested in the property, shows them where these facilities, these public facilities are located on the base. So that is what an official map does. It can only change by council amending the map in the future. But it gives, like I said, it gives everyone a good idea of these public facilities. And it really protects us as a community that these facilities will happen. A developer just can't come into town and say, oh, well, I'm going to build a bowling alley here. Well, no, you're not. It's green space there. So this map holds. Like these locations, they hold unless amended by Township Council. So next step after the official map is our comprehensive rezoning. So that will look very similar to our approved redevelopment plan. And we're hoping to have that in front of council. The staff is hoping to have that in front of council by the end of the year. And what's the future? Well, the redevelopment of the full 862 acres will be a phased-in development. Whether it's 7 phases or 15 phases, no one has that answer. Maybe in the next 5 years, phase 1 can start construction, but we're looking at this the full base, probably 30 years, 25 to 30 years before it's completed. There's a lot of things involved, a lot of different agencies, departments, levels of government involved, and it takes a while. I think most of you, if you lived here from day one in 2005, it's taken us this long to get to possibly maybe seeing phase 1 in the next 5 years. Roads, same thing, they will be phased in. We are looking at Norristown Road Extension being the first one, but that's very early in its stages of engineering and design. So we will have public hearings and public meetings on that as they get something on paper, something starting to be designed. So what I'll ask everyone as we go through this process is stay informed. The one thing that I always tell a lot of people is, I try not to read comments on social media and the internet, but it amazes me of how many people believe what they read on social media and the comments. Call us. That's what we're here for. Call us. There's the phone number, there's the website, there's the email. Call us and ask questions. We're here to answer those questions and get you the facts. So if you see something on social media, you hear something in the neighborhood by word of mouth or at church or at a school function, and you're not sure if it's true, if it's a fact, call us. And we'd be happy to answer any questions you have and tell you the status, tell you the update. So that is my presentation, Mr. Whiteside.
All right, thank you for that, Bill. Before we close this hearing, does anybody in the audience have any questions or comments that we could answer? You need to come up to the mic. Please state your name and address.
Julie Kohler, 116 Chestnut Lane. My question has to do with the public areas, the amount of open space, and can you, because I've been a little bit out of touch with some of the historical development of this project, but certainly was involved many, many years ago working with the Navy. Can you give me a sense of how the amount of open space was determined, designated in terms of the amount of gross area, the percentage of the 862 acres, and the placement of the open space? And my second question is, I imagine given the amount of groundwater contamination that's still on the base, that there is no provision for public water supply wells on that entire tract?
That is correct. There will be no water drawn. We do, if you see those two circles up there, we do identify the existing, their existing Navy wells, well, now Biddle Air Guard Station wells. Not that they would be used for public water, but they could be used for cleanup efforts. So we identify them to possibly use them in the future for additional cleanup efforts. We didn't want them abandoned and closed. But to answer some of your questions, so the amount of acreage of open space, that was determined back in 2010, 2011, when the plan was developed. And that was from public input back in, so the 25%, about a little over 200 acres, that was through the public process in 2009 to 2012. The locations are approximately the same locations, maybe tweaked here and there a little bit from the approved redevelopment plan of 2012. But some of them were, this was, like I said, this is in an area where, you know, in the area at the future town center, so we wanted an open space gathering location, park near the town center. This is, a portion of this is capped landfill that can't be used for any development. This is another capped landfill over here. This is an area where a lot of stormwater will be going to, and the idea of this area was to keep it open space and possibly at a lake, which would be a retention basin for stormwater with the development of the base, with trails and stuff going around the lake, which would be a stormwater control feature. That's, I think I answered most.
Oh, okay. And my last question is, are there any current height restrictions? Like, I know the base had been, you know, anything in proximity was limited by the FAA to 35 feet. Are there any provisions in this in terms of vertical restrictions?
There will be in our comprehensive zoning. And the current zoning right now, I believe the Business Park District 2 allows 3 to 5 stories. But when we were originally doing the plan back in 2010, the redevelopment plan, in the town center area, you know, we were envisioning probably 8 stories, in that average 8 stories in the town center area.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Anybody from council have any questions or comments?
I have a question, actually, also on the open space. Now, that, as you said before, was dictated by the 2010, 2011 plan that was developed. Would that, how closely do we need to follow that plan moving forward? What would be the process if we wanted to change it to, say, 50% open space? Like, what would be involved in that?
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out like random numbers.
It's a good question. It's a good question because a lot of people, the plan is all through federal law. So the plan was developed as a federal law process when they close a federal military installation. So you have some say, but not all the say. So we went with a bubble plan, what we call a bubble plan. So what the federal law says we can tweak here and there, but what turns out has to turn out close to what we see on the screen now. We can, like I said, we can tweak here and there. Like, for example, let me get my pointer here. Like, this spine road here, it didn't make any sense to divide these future neighborhoods in half, especially if the kids are going across with their bikes and stuff to visit friends. So we took it over further to put it against the Air Guard Station. You can see there's the large area, there's the lake that I talked about. Here's some of the open space. There's some of that open space. The town center is probably shifting a little bit this way, so that Festival Park is the area that I pointed out. So it mirrors it. We tweaked it. If you majorly change it, for the example that you said, and you want 50% open space, everything starts from scratch. So this goes away. All the previous work goes away. You enter into the BRAC process, brand new. Takes you about 3 to 4 years to develop a new redevelopment plan. That's to answer your question.
No, that's helpful.
If I can ask a clarifying question that might be helpful for others as well, and I hope I'm indicating this correctly from prior conversations about the bubble plan. The bubble plan, the percentages, the acreage is to then reflect what we see in the greater community. Is that accurate? So like the percentage of R1 in Horsham Township and the percentage of the base land.
Yeah, one thing that when we went through the whole public meeting process is what we heard from the residents. They didn't want us to build a town within our town.
Mhm.
So as you look at this bubble plan, it's sort of Horsham, office parks. The only thing that isn't, but the residents asked for it, is the town center. Because we don't have a town center, we don't have a main street, we don't have that identity gathering place. But we have the townhomes, we have small lots, large lots, a school. So it sort of looks like Horsham,
Right.
except for the town center.
And sorry, again, if I'm incorrect in this, are the percentages approximately, no?
No.
Okay.
No. The way the plan was developed, hopefully, but it was we looked at percentages on developers that come would need certain areas, like the residential areas, will be the first to go. They need that revenue and that money to be able to create the town center. So as we were developing it out, we wanted it to look like Horsham, but we were also making something that will financially work.
Sure.
And we didn't want to create something that financially didn't work for developers and no one would come. So.
And can you speak to, were there roundabouts in the original plan? Or is that new for this plan?
That's new for this plan. When Michael Baker International and Gilmore looked at the road network and roadway through the base, the original plan had Privet Road going through here, but at the time that plan was developed, we didn't know about the landfill that was going to be capped and what you could or could not do in this area. So that's why you don't see Privet Road here. It's Precision through, and then this connection. But yeah, those things, the roundabouts were not known in 2012.
Okay, and those were recommended by Michael Baker and Gilmore?
Yep.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
staff. Yep.
Okay.
They help roundabouts, and maybe Eric can talk more about this. The roundabouts help with speeding, traffic, accidents. They reduce a lot of that. So they've come a long way. There's some up in Doylestown now, going into Doylestown, and they've come a long way. And better, they work better and function better than traffic signals.
Following on to Ms. Chunky's question on clarity on what's allowed in the base and where the plans initially came from, is my understanding correct that the plan that was developed in 2012 needs to, or 11, 10, whatever that was, needs to look a certain way in order to be approved by the federal government for that land transfer? So we couldn't, let's say, dedicate 100% to open space because that's not what is intended by
Correct, yes.
Can
It's,
you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, the BRAC law, the Base Realignment Closure Act, that's the law that dictates how and what happens to federally closed military bases. It's when Willow Grove was fully operational as a base, there was about 3,500 jobs on the base. And what the federal law says is the redevelopment has to replace those jobs. And so that's a big factor in the redevelopment plans. So yes, you couldn't just put a redwood forest here or a solar farm of 800 acres with solar panels. You have to, the federal law requires jobs to be that were lost to be replaced.
Okay, if there's no
Further questions, then we'll close the hearing, and we will consider this a little later on tonight's meeting. Mr. Walker, you want to make the announcement about Horsham's participation in our Suicide Awareness Month for September?
Yep, as I think most of us know, September is the Suicide Awareness Month. We will be participating again this year to bring attention to suicide by displaying our purple pinwheels and sign that we'll put in the front yard of the township building for the first week of September. And then each week we'll put a different notice, a different information on our social media and website about suicide awareness throughout the month of September. The good news is the number's down as, you can't see because AI's in the way. There we go. So in 2023, 100 people died by suicide in Montgomery County, and in 2024, it's slightly decreased to 94. So we will be helping with Pinwheels for Prevention in September.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Next, we've reached the part we have an opportunity for questions or comments from the public.
Anybody with any questions or comments on anything?
I'm sorry. Questions about anything?
Anything you want.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Ed McDemus. I live on Lower State Road, 309 Lower State. It gets confused with, sometimes the fire company thinks it's 309 and Lower State, but it's 309 Lower State Road is our address. What's been bothering us so much, and we've been there 40-some years, is the amount of traffic on that road is unbelievable. And not only is the amount of traffic a problem, but the road is 35 miles per hour. And I would say that most of the people that come down that road are doing a good 50 miles per hour, if not more. And from Horsham Road, there's a S-bend that finally comes to the straight part of Lower State Road. And you may be ready to pull out from your house, and you start pulling out, and you don't see any cars coming, and you start to pull out, and all of a sudden, here comes a swarm of 6 to 10 cars that are doing 50 to 60 miles an hour. And you got to put it in reverse and pull back in the driveway. So I'm suggesting that, I don't know whether you've ever seen those speed signs that say 35 miles per hour, and it has the lights around it that flash off and on. It seems that nobody on Lower State Road actually reads any of the signs 35 miles per hour. Maybe we need a sign installed that has those flashing lights and 35 miles per hour where it comes from Horsham Road down to Lime Kiln Pike. So that's my request.
We do have those signs, so I'll speak with our police. I know our lieutenant's here. You could grab him on the way out, but I'll speak with our chief. We rotate them around town. So
Okay.
we do have them, so we can put them out. Your section of Lower State is Horsham Road to Limekiln Pike, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Yep. And I wish I had the answer for
Okay.
how people drive.
No, it's just a request.
No, it's
I
a fair
think-
request, and we know they travel fast. I wish it's a societal problem, but I wish I had the answer and a fix all.
And sometimes I stand out there, and as the cars go by, I do kind of like this, and I get the finger from most cars, like,
Yep.
the hell with it, so.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you.
If you could,
Can you give either Dennis or Bill your contact information so we can touch base with you?
Yeah. Who do I see?
Either Bill or Dennis.
Okay.
Okay, next we have to pay the bills. Do we have a motion to approve the checks?
just one, on your checklist is a check for Glasgow. So Glasgow was our private contractor for paving this year. So it's a big check. It's $495,000 of your total checklist.
Thank you.
I move to approve the list of checks in all funds from August 22nd, 2025 to August 25th, 2025 in the amount of $705,328.07 and further move to authorize payment of same.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next, I need to announce that there are no new zoning hearing board applications for September, so we won't have any reviews of them this evening. Next item is to render a decision on the Toll Mid-Atlantic LP 1336 Limekiln Pike conditional use application, 25-08-CU. Dave?
Yes, we, as you know, we had a conditional use hearing every time. Back on August 13th, council held a hearing on a conditional use application of Toll Mid-Atlantic Company for properties along Limekiln Pike. That is now ripe for a council decision tonight. I believe we have an adjudication drafted, and it is now ready for council's decision tonight, ready for a vote by council.
All right. Then do we have a motion?
I move to approve the conditional use application for the Toll Mid-Atlantic LP 1336 Limekiln Pike 25-08-CU.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This is a roll call vote.
Mr. Glemser, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Lapp, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Wade, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Chunky, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And we'll get the written decision out to the applicant.
All right, thank you. And then the next item would be to consider the subdivision and land development plan for Toll Mid-Atlantic LP, Inc., 1336 Limekiln Pike, 25-05-D. Dave, do we have all the pieces we need for that?
Yes, we do.
And this has been approved, recommended approval for the Horsham Planning Commission. It has been reviewed by council. We do have their agreement to accept conditions this evening, so it is ready for your consideration.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve the resolution as proposed, granting preliminary final approval to the Toll Mid-Atlantic LP Company, Inc., 1336 Limekiln Pike Land Development Plan 25-05-D.
Second?
Moved and seconded. This is a roll call vote.
Mr. Glemser, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Laff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Wade, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Chunky, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
And I vote aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next, we need to review a request for a waiver of land development from McDonald's, 205 Easton Road, 25-09-W, to expand the length of their drive-through. Mr. Walker?
Yep. Sean, you can come up and turn your mic on. But we've been getting lots of phone calls and lots of emails about the McDonald's on 611. So their engineers here this evening, they have put a request for a waiver of land development. He'll explain their plan, but basically they want to bump out the little building a little bit and add another drive-through window Most of their business is done through drive-through nowadays, so they want to be more efficient and get their customers through and out through their drive-through. So this is part of their renovation from their fire that they had in December 2024. And Sean, you can just tell me which one you want put up first.
Yeah, if you have the site plan rendering.
There we go. This one? Or the site plan?
We could start with that one, just to describe where the location is of the property.
Do you have a pointer?
Yes.
Yep, there you go.
So this is what was the existing McDonald's along Easton Road, 205 Easton Road, Horsham Township. It is on the corner of Pine Ave and Easton Road, and there is some existing residential behind the lots, and what is now the new Pete's Car Wash is across the other side of Pine Ave there. So, as you said, Bill, unfortunately they had a fire back in December, electrical fire. Your fire crew reacted quickly. They were able to save most of the building. However, there was extensive water and smoke damage from the fire. So McDonald's kind of took that time, in the early part of this year to kind of reevaluate the building and the operations of that particular store. And they decided that, as Bill noted, it made sense to do a slight building expansion, 200 square feet to be exact, in order to provide a third pickup window for the building. If you could, flip to there. Thank you. So that's majority of the improvements to the building itself. From an exterior perspective, the entire interior of the building is going to be gutted completely due to, again, the fire and all the damage. So they're going to kind of revamp the interior of the store. They're also going to be relocating the grease trap. I guess this building is actually very old. I think it was built back in the 70s. So the current grease trap is in the basement. Everyone always laughs when I say that McDonald's has a basement. This is one of the few, I'm sure. So we're going to be relocating that to the exterior. And while we're doing that, we're going to redo all the concrete and asphalt around the drive-through as it's a little bit banged up today. In order to allow the room for the third pickup window, the existing curb kind of ends where my pointer is here, just to the plan view west of the building corner. So we are going to be kind of opening that up a bit, creating a nice S-curve to get out the egress, because this parking lot is one-way circulation only, where you approach plan view east, internal to the building, circulate the building, and then exit plan view west. The pylon sign for the big M arch symbol is currently right about where we need to expand for this drive-through curb line revision. So we're actually relocating that to just outside the right-of-way, which actually falls more in line with your ordinance provision of 5 feet outside of the right-of-way. There's going to be a few utility improvements. As I said, we're going to be bringing in new electrical equipment outside the building. A lot of the electrical equipment that was inside the building, which actually caused the fire, getting relocated to outside the building, bring it up to modern code today. So we brought this plan to Bill and his team back in May, and had a meeting just to kind of discuss the plan and the potential process here, where it was brought up that it would be nice if we could add a couple features along the frontage there along Easton Road. The current store is just not very aesthetically pleasing right now along the frontage, so McDonald's decided to acquiesce with that. So we are adding quite a bit of landscaping here in front of the existing porch, which is actually going to remain. We're actually adding a bit more to the plan view west, a bit more to plan view east. We're also adding the same street lamps that just went in for Pete's Car Wash along the frontage. So those street lamps will be purchased and installed by McDonald's. They'll be owned and operated in an easement to the township. And then they will also be on separate electric for the township to pay those bills. Another ask was to provide better pedestrian movement from a lot of the existing parking that's on the Plainview west side of the building into the store. So we're sort of revamping this area, adding an 88 ramp to provide cars that pick up food and want to come back inside the building, an avenue to do so. Otherwise, I believe that's most of the improvements.
You guys want to point out the pedestrian lamps there's 3 of them?
Yeah.
Oh, we did, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, but
Sorry.
as I noted before, right, we have 3 street lamps that are the exact same style that was just installed at Pete's Car Wash adjacent to the site. And as I noted, they will be installed by McDonald's, but owned, operated, and maintained by the township. And there'll be separate easements for that, which I'll work with your township staff to solidify those agreements. This is just the exterior of the building, so it'll look like a very modern McDonald's. This is one of the newer protos that they're rolling out throughout the country. A lot of the signage actually remains the same, because if you recall, the store was remodeled not all that long ago, but it was more just an exterior facelift at that time. So, due to the fire, they're taking advantage and want to revamp the interior of the store, so also the exterior at the same time. And as I noted, with meeting with Bill and his staff, based on the way your ordinance, Saldo 198-6, definition for minor land development, we felt that this would meet the requirements of a waiver of land development, allow the store to get back up and operational much more quickly than if we were to go for full land development. So, any questions?
Is there a staff recommendation on this?
Yes, we're comfortable recommending a waiver of land development, and for Dave in his approval resolution to capture everything Sean said this evening, the landscaping, the building, the parking lot, the signs, the pedestrian lamps, and we'll use this exhibit as part of your approval resolution too, that it's built according to what you show council this evening.
Eric, I'm going off of the review letter. Is there zoning relief that's still required related to the landscaping out front? Is there landscaping required still out front in order to meet the zoning ordinance? I'm looking at the review letter. Is there zoning relief that is contemplated here?
Yeah, I could comment on that. So we submitted a plan back in July, got comment letters from Eric and his team August 1st, of which we've actually addressed those. We have yet to resubmit just in case there were any additional comments from council. But this plan that you see here is our revised plan, where really we beefed up the landscaping in the frontage quite a bit, significantly more than what was originally proposed.
How far does it go back, do you know, from the right-of-way? How many feet? More than 10 at least.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that porch is about 20 or so feet off the right-of-way, if I recall. Yep.
Dave, just any motion for any approval should reference our review letter. I know we didn't bring it up yet, but compliance with our review letter, which would cover your question.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
I was trying to find the answer, and I was having a little bit of trouble navigating that. Do you know if there is a SEPTA stop for Route 55 in front of your McDonald's?
I do not have that answer at this time.
If there is, would there be consideration for having a bench for people? We're
I
waiting
think
for
we would
that.
certainly take that into consideration
Okay.
if there is an existing stop.
Okay, thank you.
And a trash can.
And a trash can next to it, apparently, and maybe a shelter. I think that would also potentially draw customers to your spot, so,
Sure.
thank you.
Is there still room inside for people to go in and eat? So you talked about the pedestrian, crosswalk to get into the building, so presumably that still exists as well?
Yes, correct. But current McDonald's and their operation shows that many less people go in to dine in. But there is still seating in there. It's just less than what's there, or
Okay.
what was there previously.
And then, so there's another drive-through window to accommodate the increased frequency of drive-through orders
Correct.
now. So question on that, with the residential area behind the store and there potentially being more opportunity for more cars to go through, is there landscaping existing in the back as a buffer, and/or would it need to increase just to kind of buffer that neighborhood?
There's a very large
Just-
and
okay.
dense vegetation behind the lot that buffers the residential currently. That's all going to remain in place. The only improvements are around the periphery of the building itself, other than the utilities going out to the back, as well as the frontage improvements that I already noted. So all the existing vegetation will stay as is.
It's sufficient?
Is there anything else we need to do
on this one, Bill?
No, if council is satisfied with everything this evening, then Dave can draw up a resolution for your consideration at your September 10th meeting.
You guys good?
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, you good? Next item tonight is to consider an ordinance for establishing an official map for the area of the former Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base Willow Grove for public lands and facilities.
I move to adopt the proposed ordinance establishing an official map for the area of the former Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base Willow Grove for public lands and facilities.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This is a roll call vote.
Mr. Glunster, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Laff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Wade, how do you vote? He's talking. I'll say thumbs, or
Can you put it in a comment?
can you do a thumbs up? Oh,
You come back to?
okay. Ms. Chunky, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
And I vote aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next is to consider an access agreement with the U.S. Navy for installation, monitoring, and maintenance of groundwater monitoring wells on township property along Keith Valley Road. Bill?
Okay, so as council is well aware, we've been dealing with environmental issues regarding our military installation since the 1970s. So we are not, we've always cooperated with any environmental cleanup that the Navy, the EPA, the DEP wanted to do to include monitoring the contamination. So what they've asked us for, and we've been entering these monitoring well agreements since the 1970 jet fuel spill off the base. But this is Keith Valley Road here. Whoops, let me show you here. This is Keith Valley Road here. Right here is Amatec. Then next to it is Select Soccer. And then this is EnviroGreen here. And then in between these businesses is the Navy base on Keith Valley Road. They would like to install 3 monitoring wells for groundwater contamination. This is the location of 1, 2, and 3. So it's 3 wells. It's our property across the street between Park Creek and Keith Valley Road. So they will install them as per the agreement. They will monitor them and they will maintain them as per the agreement as long as they have to monitor. But it helps them dictate what to do with the contamination or any contamination. So it would be staff recommendation to approve the agreement.
We have a motion?
I move to authorize the access agreement with the United States of America, U.S. Navy for the installation, monitoring, and maintenance of groundwater monitoring wells on township property along Keith Valley Road.
Second?
It's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Ayes have it. All right. Next, I want to announce that our next Horsham Township meeting will be Wednesday, September the 10th at 8 p.m. in this auditorium. Before we adjourn, Horsham Restaurant Week is September the 14th through the 19th. Our Carpenter Cross Bike Race is September the 20th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Lukens Park. And our Eco event, which is tree giveaway, electronic recycling, shredding, is October the 4th from 9 till 11 at the Horsham Township Municipal Complex. That said, meeting adjourned.